They also claimed that these groups were planning to radicalize African Americans to help overthrow the government. This reflected a common view of African Americans as Bolshevik sympathizers during the summer of 1919, which saw widespread race riots in dozens of American cities. African Americans were labeled Wobblies, that's an IWW member, socialists, Bolsheviks, or anarchists if they criticized orthodox American politics or capitalism. Resistance and questioning Jim Crow laws or black disenfranchisement was linked in the eyes of many to Soviet Russia. Black newspapers were monitored and investigated by the US government for fear that these periodicals would attempt to Bolshevize African Americans. J. Edgar Hoover even referred to the black community newspaper, The Messenger, as the Russian organ of the Bolsheviki in the United States, and he believed that the weekly Negro World advocated Soviet Russian rule and Bolshevism. The US Military Intelligence Division even concluded that the civil rights organization, the NAACP, was controlled by Bolsheviks. Now, when race riots broke out in July in Washington, D.C. and in Chicago, the Bureau of Investigation claimed that Bolshevik influences had provoked the African American communities into seditious activity. The New York Times ran a headline on July 28th which read, "Reds try to stir Negroes to revolt." In reality, though, white mobs had started the riots in both cities, and though the riots of 1919 represented one of the first times blacks actively fought back against mob violence, they nonetheless suffered disproportionate loss of life, and thousands of black homes were burned. Many black veterans that had just returned from duty in the First World War were also targeted because they were seen as a threat. But the riots were not a Bolshevik attempt to mobilize African Americans for revolution. They were the result of racism against African Americans and tensions brought on by the competition for jobs and housing amidst demographic and economic change.